Welcome to the Grand Theft World podcast, sponsored by the fine members over at grandtheftworld.com. If you haven't become a member yet, go ahead, stop by grandtheftworld.com, click the join community button, check out your options, and thank you for supporting the show. This week in Grand Theft World history, we have a plethora, a cornucopia of content. I'm smiling because I got to say this first story, and it's not something I ever thought I'd have to say on this show. Whistleblowers have reported that the United States government has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 alien aircraft, some in good condition, some not in so good condition. And I'm just wondering why now? Why now? This has been a thing for like 70 or 80 years. It's not really news. The whistleblower asked permission and got permission from his management to disclose this to the public. I think it smells fishy. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go down to the docks. It's going to smell a little fishy. We're going to look at this UFO story and see if there's anything to it. As far as recently as last night, they're reporting alien invasion in Las Vegas and all sorts of kooky stuff popping off. So, yeah, that's happening.
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles. No kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
Let's dive into this one. So the quick version of this story is that an ex-military guy has come forward and spilled the beans about the government secretly hiding crashed UFOs and alien bodies. This person's name is David Grush, and it appears on paper he has quite the resume. But here are a few red flags with this story. Number 1, no evidence has been presented at all. Normally, this would be the beginning and the end of this video. No evidence at all has been presented of extraterrestrial UFOs, extraterrestrial bodies. And Mr. Grush claims he didn't actually see any of this stuff. He just heard that this stuff is true. Another red flag. Before Mr. Grush went to the media with this story, he had to clear with the Department of Defense what he could and couldn't say, because he did work in sensitive offices in the military. Things that are top secret, you can't just go out and tell everyone about. And so, as it's reported, he went to the Department of Defense to clear this. It's an office called the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review, or DOPSR. They review everything you want to say in a book, in an interview, whatever medium. And they say, no, you can't say this, this is top secret. That's what they do. This is top secret, can't share it. And it's reported that he went through this process and they signed off on what he had to say. What does that mean? It means everything that he's saying in these interviews, the government doesn't consider it a secret. It doesn't consider it top secret. It doesn't consider it something they don't want revealed. Mr. Grush is now a private citizen. He has the right to say whatever he wants. The Department of Defense is not going to dictate what kind of stories this now private citizen can tell. They're only going to dictate what is top secret and can't be revealed. So he didn't reveal any secrets. Another red flag was when I personally called David Grush for comment, to get his input, to ask him questions about all of this stuff. And here's how the phone call went. Hello? Hi, is this David Grush? Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to? This is Stephen Greenstreet with the New York Click. He hung up on me. I called back, didn't answer. I left a voicemail. I then texted him and sent him other messages to no response. Look, if you've got a solid story, you've got to be able to talk to the national press. If your story is true, you shouldn't be scared of hard questions. You shouldn't be scared of critical inquiry. Click. Another red flag is the sources for all of this. It's the same names that have been involved with this UFO story for years. The authors of the original story are Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Kean. In the UFO world, these guys are superstars. Miss Kean, for example, for many years, dating back decades, has been a UFO activist, a UFO researcher, a UFO author, a UFO believer. And these two wrote the now infamous 2017 New York Times front page article revealing this Pentagon UFO program. Our reporting at the Post has revealed that most of that article is erroneous, factually inaccurate, deceptive. And Miss Kane actually went on a Showtime documentary and admitted that she had a specific goal and agenda with that New York Times article, and that was to get people to believe in UFOs.
The angle that I was taking in my reporting was to try to get credibility for the subject, and I knew that that was not the way to go. That was not the first step in terms of getting people to accept this.
Through my own research, I've learned that other news outlets had this story, were presented with this story, did not publish the story. Ralph Blumenthal, in a tweet, for example, says the Washington Post had this story. But they wanted to take some time, he says. They needed more time. Washington Post needed more time for what? Could it be for fact-checking, background checks, intense vetting, more fact-checking, and so on? Anyway, they couldn't wait, so they just published it in the debrief. Now, what's the debrief? The debrief is a low-level underground media outlet, and they run lots of UFO stories. They got their start running UFO stories, breathless UFO stories, thousands and thousands of words of UFO stories on the debrief.
Now, on the brighter side, Tucker Carlson has returned, not to Fox News, but he returned to the Twitter. He's got over 100 million views, something that Fox News does not know how to do, and anywhere on the internet over any period of time, pretty much. So Tucker is changing the game, and Fox decided they're going to sue him now. We'll see how that goes. Tucker has deep pockets. It's a war of attrition. He can make it very interesting, and he does have a right to free speech. He does have a right to First Amendment, and we'll see what Fox is willing to do to try to take that away from him.
Tucker Carlson's first episode of Tucker on Twitter nets, it says 70 million, but that's June 7th. I think it's at 110 million right now, if not higher. Tucker is on fire, to say the least. He's absolutely crushing it with where he's at. The first episode, Twitter CEO Elon Musk acknowledged his high view count, but clarified that it only counts for views on the X Twitter app or web browser, excluding views from other sources like Google search results or Bloomberg terminals. Carlson chose Twitter as a platform for his show. After leaving Fox News, citing the platform's commitment to free speech, he expressed his hope that Twitter would provide a platform without gatekeepers, emphasizing his gratitude for the opportunity to be on a platform. But very quickly, by the way, second episode came out yesterday, which has got somewhere around 40 million views. And then immediately after his first episode, Fox News tells Tucker Carlson he violated his contract with new Twitter show. This is NBC News. Fox News informed Tucker Carlson's lawyer that he violated his contract with the network by releasing the first episode of his new show on Twitter. The breach of contract stated in a letter from Fox News general counsel Brandon Guger, who referred to Carlson's contract signed in November of 2019 and amended in February of 2021. Carlson's lawyer, Brian Friedman, argued that any legal action taken by Fox News would infringe on Carlson's First Amendment rights. Carlson's new show on Twitter, titled Episode 1, featured his unfounded claim that Ukraine was responsible for an attack on a dam in Russian-occupied territory, leading to devastating floods. Ukrainian President Zelensky and U.S. officials have accused Russia of the attack, while Russia denies any involvement. I mean, that's pretty... And yesterday, he's out there doing what he's doing yesterday. If you watch what he said yesterday, Twitter, a lot of people on Twitter are going back and forth saying, well, what is this guy saying? Is he trying to say something? Because a part of what he said in episode number 2, I think 90 seconds into it or 2 minutes into it, he says, by 2008, no one questioned that Barack Obama had a highly creepy personal life.
What? What creepy?
That's highly creepy personal life is he talking about? But Tom, what do you think about what's going on here right now with Fox News suing Tucker or getting after him?
I love this. So let's go to one sentence that everyone will understand. It said, Fox sends a letter that said, Mr. Carlson's services shall be completely exclusive to Fox. That was under a contract with Fox. Fox pays Carlson specifically to be there. Now then, he goes on Twitter. Twitter's an open platform. And he put a video up on Twitter showing what he thinks. That's it. Does he have a contract with Twitter? No. Elon Musk has said so. There's no contract with this guy. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk went out of his way to put a tweet out, remember, that said there is no contract with Tucker Carlson. So he went out and did that. This is going to be tough for the Fox lawyer to get a judge to injunct and say, Oh, yeah. Well, you've got a contract with Fox. Your services are exclusive to Fox, and now you're providing services. He's going to have to, Fox has got to successfully argue that he's providing services to Twitter. He's not. He's a free guy stating what he believes and put a video up on a open social media platform. I don't think Fox has an angle here, because what judge is going to say that?
How is he monetizing his content on Twitter?
That's exactly right. What's the contract? Or do you get casual monetization for cumulative views?
Does he?
I don't know.
I mean, how does that work?
That's a good question. 'Cause
If he doesn't, then there's no commercial relationship. Even just a casual commercial relationship where you click the button saying, yeah, send me a check if there's enough views and you can sell ads against it. But that still isn't a contract to provide services. I think he's in the clear. I think he knows he's in the clear. And I think that this is the only angle that Fox can take, but they got to find a judge that will injunct and say this.
Yeah, Musk made it clear that he's not paying them. He says, I also want to be clear that we have not signed a deal of any kind whatsoever. Tucker is subject to the same rules and rewards of all content creators. Rewards means subscriptions and advertising revenue share coming soon, which is a function of how many people subscribe and the advertising views associated with the content. I hope that many others, particularly from the left, also choose to be content creators on this platform.
He's like the test run, Pat. And guess what? He'll do this, bro. Think about how brilliant this is. For 1 year, he's going to do this and get numbers at him like 75 million, 75, 80 million, 100 million. Once Fox lets him go, then they're going to say, okay, now it's time to start paying this dude. He's
more
making
views
bank,
than the
bro.
entire cable news lineup that
Combined.
Exactly.
So that's a great move, bro. Get your name up there and then
Absolutely crushing it.
killing it, bro.
The guy has a very necessary voice. Clearly, the market wants to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
I personally think that he's the top, if not one of the top, opinion personalities out there.
Next up, smoke. Not on the water. It's all over the East Coast. It's not some Deep Purple song from the 70s. It's a recent spree of spontaneous combustion. You might call it arson, all going on at a convenient time to raise people's fears of global warming and carbon and the earth and the planet. Meanwhile, the people that are running the show, they probably stand to benefit a good bit from the eco-terrorism. So we're going to ask the words, key bono, who benefits in that situation?
During the biggest fire catastrophe in Canadian history, on June 2nd, there were over 100 forest fires in Quebec, with 10 of them out of control. The province's fire prevention agency says it only has the ability to fight 30 fires. This massive outbreak of fires was captured by longtime geological watchdog YouTube channel, Dutch Sensei.
Here's last night. Here's today. All of southeast Quebec just caught on fire, guys. All of it. Insane. Insane. Look at that. The whole thing. All at once.
Michael Janich of the Dutch Sensei channel has been monitoring earthquakes and other geological activity for years, successfully predicting earthquakes and issuing warnings when the USGS won't. Janich has often reported on fires that break out along the edge of the plate craton, or fires that break out around volcanoes.
All the way across central Mexico from over here, following all the way across over to here. All fires, all at once, all yesterday. Not normal. We don't normally see this. So that being said, I want to just show you what's there, and we'll just go zoom in from over here all the way across to here. Let's just zoom in the middle. Well, we could start over on the left side or in the middle. You'll see a bunch of little dots on the ground. As I zoom in, you'll see they're changed from dots to actual volcanoes. These are all volcanoes. Every single one of these, the big ones and the small ones.
And he's captured images of what appears to be directed energy weapons, sparking California wildfires in 2020. But the fires from last week were not along the edge of the craton or near a volcano, as far as we know. The only other explanations would be that it was man-made, and there was no sign of a directed energy weapon.
It's not just a Canadian forest fire problem anymore. I'm gonna have to say it, guys. It looks like you got a problem going on up there that might be related to, I don't know. What do you think? You think that these fires might be related to, I don't know. What do you think? Terrorism? Directed energy weapon? War? The Russians? Chinese? What? Ourselves? All the above? Whatever. This level? You're going to burn out everybody? You're going to burn out all the natural wildlife and everything? Come on, man. Even if you're an anarchist or something, come on, guys. Look, dude, I don't see you burning down the Federal Reserve. Not that you want to. I'm not telling you to. I didn't say that.
There was evidence of arson in the American West Coast wildfires, and U.S. climate czar John Kerry just called out for his instinct rebellion mob to be more militant.
We have to fight on multiple fronts simultaneously. This is the biggest organizational effort that I think we have faced, certainly since World War II, but perhaps ever. We got to push more. We got to be more militant, maybe.
Just like California and Australia, these fires will be blamed on cow farts and human civilization. The captured government of Canada is telling the people to stay out of the woods. They are ignoring volunteer firemen and asking Trudeau for the military and foreign workers to rebuild. The New World Order needs an excuse to lock us down one more time. And this could be it. Burning people out of their homes is an old tactic used for stealing their land.
Some of you may have seen the visible satellite imagery looped so that it looks like all the Quebec fires started at the same time. This is actually really common imagery when it comes to lightning ignited wildfires, and the explanation has everything to do with meteorology. So when a front rolls through, bringing those lightning strikes, that's the spark for new fires, but those thunderstorms often come with rain. So that means these fires are smoldering at first, but because this year our fuels in this area were so particularly dry, they can sort of hunker down until the right trigger comes into play. And that trigger is often daytime heating and the diurnal impacts of afternoon winds kicking in. Once that dryness reaches that critical point, all the fires are able to spread at the same time, being picked up by the afternoon winds that supply oxygen. It's those same winds that causes that smoke to spread.
Trump indicted. Anyone surprised by that? Biden's under investigation, which is probably why this UFO news is out there to cloud the sky along with the fires. And it's June. It's Pride Month. And the CIA has finally come out of the closet. We're going to look at that story. How they're all up in the rainbows this month. And it's pretty interesting given some of their history and the history of the people that mentored and trained the nascent OSS and CIA officers.
Pride Month over at CIA, ladies and gentlemen. Pride. CIA's this is their Twitter account. CIA's 2023 theme for Pride Month is Welcome Me. Welcome me. What? That's like they're splitting up the word welcome. Wellness, equity, LGBTQ plus. This is like if the Crips did this. Can you imagine if like the Crips did this? The Crips actually have more dignity and are more honest brokers in the CIA. I don't mean to insult the Crips, but that's what this is like. This is like if ISIS did this. Imagine if ISIS did this. Wellness, equity, LGBTQ plus, community, openness, and me. Oh, that's how you spell welcome. Well, no, there's no M there. Oh, yeah, there it is, M. And then the E. Oh, so you go welcome, and then you go over. Pride Month is an occasion for all of us at the agency to pay tribute to the rich history, community, and mission contributions of our LGBTQ plus officers. Pride 2023. Holy shit. You want to see it? Here it is. There it is. They do such good graphics over at the CIA. That's what I really got into the CIA, because I want to do graphics. Elon Musk says, I thought the CIA liked being in the closet. LOL. Oh! The richest guy in the world comes in and drops the hammer on the CIA. He does business with the CIA. That's what's weird. Why don't you come out with the JFK files, says Benny Johnson. These guys are on it. Glenn Greenwald says, rebranding U.S. foreign policy and the U.S. intelligence agencies, including the CIA, as a crusade for LGBTQ2AI plus rights is a truly genius feat of marketing. It's one of the reasons, not the only, that the U.S. liberals now regard the CIA and U.S. foreign policy as so benevolent. They love it. They love it now because they put the gay flag on the bombs and on the bombing and on the bullets, put the gay flag on it, and then you kill people. And then we go steal their natural resources in the name of imperialism and hegemony, like we've always done. But now we're doing it with gays. Isn't that great? And the gay community falls for this shit. I think it might be a covert plot to give Glenn Greenwald a heart attack. That's what that guy said. That's funny. Let's see what this guy says. Red Planet says, for Pride Month, we encourage agents to participate in Operation Clearwater. Get dicked down so hard you develop a conscience and quit your job at the CIA.
And last but not least, Ted Kaczynski, a.k.a. the Unabomber, is dead at 81, and he was totally wrong. Techno-fascism is not something we should be concerned about, so shame on you, Ted, and good riddance.
Theodore Ted Kaczynski, a US convicted killer known as the Unabomber, has died in his prison cell at the age of 81. He killed 3 people and injured 23 others in a 17-year bombing campaign between 1978 and 1995. The killer has been held in a federal US prison for 25 years. Kaczynski was found unresponsive in his cell on Saturday morning. His cause of death is unknown.
All right, we're going to kick it off right now with Luke Radowski from the wearechange.org and thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Let's get his report from earlier today, and let's see if I got some of my tips unique to my introduction that aren't in his video this week.
Holy freaking cow, they actually did it. Yeah, kids, listen, it's okay that bomb's being dropped on you in the Middle East because you know what? Those bombs are gay now.
What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions. We can get into the show, we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Come on, man. No.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man. Come on.